LCJ Live. Hello, it's Lights Camera Jackson. We're back for the first time in 2 weeks. Had a week off. I have seen so many movies over the last 2 weeks. This month, this is the biggest month of me for the year already, and we're not even done with the month as far as number of new movies that I have seen, over 20. And I'm going to break down a lot of them for you coming up here on LCJ Live. It is Sunday, October 26th, 2025. It's the Halloween show, and Day of the Dead is this coming weekend, all happening before next Sunday. So happy Halloween, happy Halloweek, and thanks for being here on LCJ Live. As always, send in your questions, your comments. What did you see this weekend? 5 new movies entering the weekend box office top 10, and we will break them all down for you here coming up on LCJ Live. I'm just looking at myself here. There we go. Thanks for being here. Good to see all of you, and happy Sunday. And we're going to talk about these new movies. We're going to talk about films I have seen, some films I didn't get to see, what's coming out this week for Halloween. There's a couple theme movies and things. I do want to begin with the #1 movie in America. Congratulations once again to anime and the power of animation because of Chainsaw Man, the movie, Reze Arc, #1. Check out all this. You could get it at the theater. Very cool. Congratulations to Sony, Crunchyroll, Chainsaw Man, #1. It's $17.3 million. This is great, once again, for animation. And we've got K-pop Demon Hunters returning to theaters this weekend for Halloween. That could be #1 again next weekend. We'll have to see what happens, but this is great. It's two-sided as well. You had all those cards, and then you have this on the other side. It just goes to show you the fan base for anime, animation. You know, it wasn't like this 10, 12 years ago. The power of animation for adults. Some of these film festival films I've seen the last couple of weeks are animation more for adults. Other animated films I've seen, terrific for the whole family. The power of anime and animation. Congratulations to Chainsaw Man, #1. A lot of people thought, oh, it'll be Black Phone 2 again. Nah, it'll be Springsteen. Nah, it'll be Regretting You. Nope. By a good margin, there, Chainsaw Man is your #1 movie with $17.3 million. #2 is The Black Phone 2, which added $13 million. It's at 49.1, but check this out. We are ahead of the first Black Phone that came out in 2022 by a couple $1 million. At this same point, $47.4 million. So we're at 49.1. So we are ahead of the first Black Phone, which went on to do $90 million domestically. It could have a good weekend next weekend for Halloween. It may drop off after that. We're talking about Predator. We're talking about Running Man. Now You See Me. And then we got Wicked Zootopia, Five Nights at Freddy's, and then we're into Avatar, SpongeBob, and some big other holiday movies. Yeah, I think one more good weekend for the Black Phone 2. And so it probably won't get to that 90 million, but hey, we're ahead of the first one. You never know what could happen at the box office these days. So there you go for Black Phone 2. #3 this weekend is Regretting You, which is just behind Black Phone 2, 12.9 million. We could see the two flop tomorrow, flip-flop. Maybe Regretting You ends up #2, but Paramount did not want to take any chances on claiming #2 quite yet. 12.9 million for Regretting You, significantly less than the $50 million debut of It Ends With Us last summer from the same author there. Pete Crook's Begonia is so great. Begonia expands nationwide this weekend. It opened in 17 theaters this weekend here, and it made $690,000. That's a little over $40,000 for a per theater average. What's interesting, you go back, you look at Poor Things, and you look at Kinds of Kindness. Poor Things opened in 9 theaters, had a $73,000 per theater average. Kinds of Kindness last year opened in 5 theaters, had a $75,000 per theater average. If you only opened Begonia in 5 theaters and it made this exact amount of money, we'd be over $100,000. But Focus was a very interesting decision to open this in 17 theaters. Usually it's as few as 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. We had 9 with Poor Things. 17, the more theaters you have, the lower that per theater average is gonna be. So a good open for a limited debut, but that per theater average is a little low, especially compared to the other Yorgos Lanthimos films. So we'll have to see. how Begonia does with its nationwide expansion this weekend. Are people sick of these collaborations between Emma Stone and Yorgos Lanthimos? After seeing through Poor Things and Kinds of Kindness, my answer is yes. I have no interest in seeing Begonia. I've heard it's good. I've heard she's good. But man, Poor Things was bad, and Kinds of Kindness among the 2 or 3 worst movies of last year. Absolutely no redeeming qualities of that movie whatsoever. So I have no interest in seeing Begonia, but we'll see what happens. It's his most accessible film. We'll have to see. I didn't hate The Favorite. I thought The Favorite was solid. Olivia Colman has some good moments. Glenn Close still should have won the Oscar out of Who Was on the Ballot. Emily Blunt should have won for Mary Poppins Returns, but on the ballot for the Oscars, it should have been Glenn Close. But and also Melissa McCarthy was great. And Can You Ever Forgive Me that year? But Olivia Colman won that Oscar. I thought Emma Stone was good in The Favorite. I thought Richard Weisz was good in The Favorite. It did some things I didn't love, but it's a much better movie than Kinds of Kindness and Poor Things. Oh my gosh. And The Lobster. Not a fan of The Lobster. So we'll see with Begonia expanding nationwide this weekend. Number 4 this weekend. Wow. Here we go. Springsteen. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about this movie. This storyline, choosing this album, even though it was based on a book. Why? Nobody cared. 9.1 million. Nothing. Really nothing. Did less than the other 20th Century movie so far this year, The Amateur, that opened to $15 million. This did less than that. Wow. Did nothing. I mean, I sat there Thursday going, nothing. I don't care. It's just the same old for all the stuff with the father and the inner reflection. We already get enough of Jeremy Allen White doing that on The Bear. Jeremy Strong, I like the idea of him in that role, but it didn't quite work. All the relationship things and crafting all the songs, it just took forever. I'll tell you who's the best actor in that movie. It's Paul Walter Hauser. He's one of the great character actors of our time. He almost, with his character in perspective on this movie, took a slightly different approach to interpreting the movie and the vibe and his attitude coming into it. I like that character. He's in it not more than probably 6 minutes, but Paul Walter Hauser is good in Springsteen, as he is in The Luckiest Man in America. If you have not seen that, the Pressure Luck movie, which he stars in. It's fantastic. Check it out. It's on digital. The Luckiest Man in America. I cannot recommend Springsteen. Have I seen a lot of worse movies this year than Springsteen? Yes. But when it comes to a high-profile person like Bruce Springsteen and the expectations and the director Scott Cooper, I've liked a number of his films, from Crazy Heart to Hostiles. I didn't like everything he did, but this, no. Nope. Did nothing for me. And it did nothing for pretty much everyone else. I mean, it made $9 million this weekend. I could see it going down to about 3.5 next weekend, and then it's completely gone. And will Jeremy Allen White get nominations? Maybe. He doesn't deserve it. It's not a great performance. If you're talking about Best Actor, look at Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon, which did have a nationwide expansion this weekend in about 700 theaters. Did not make a lot of money, which is too bad because it's a great movie. It's one of the best films of the year, and Ethan Hawke is outstanding. It's really a movie for grown-ups. As I watched it, I'm going, man, if Ethan Hawke tries to get on these Best Actor ballots this year, it's going to be the cinephiles and the 40 to 50 and up crowd who's going to vote for him. I don't know if a lot of younger Academy members and other awards groups, my age, younger, a little older, are going to be interested in seeing Blue Moon. It sort of shows that it only did 535,000 this weekend, which is too bad. If you love Ethan Hawke, you got to see Blue Moon, and I hope he is a Best Actor contender. Number 5 this weekend is Tron Ares, which added $4.9 million. It's at $63.4 million. That is not a lot for Disney. That last Tron movie, remember 2010? $172 million. And yes, Richard Linklater, Nouvelle Vague, another Richard Linklater film besides Blue Moon. Nouvelle Vague comes out this week in select theaters before it goes to Netflix in November. Number 6 is Good Fortune, which added $3.1 million. It's at $11.8 million for Lionsgate. Not a lot. Number 7 is Shelby Oaks, Chris Stuckman's horror film with Mike Flanagan. Just $2.4 million this weekend for Neon. I think the expectations were a little higher. Number 8 is One Battle After Another, which added $2.3 million. It's at 65.8, and from what I read a little while ago, I believe $180 million worldwide. Not bad at all. Number 9 is Roofman, which added $2 million. It's at 19.4 for Paramount. It will pass Novocaine on the Paramount chart, which did just under 20 million, so it will get past that, but not even as much as what Smurfs did, Naked Gun, of course, Mission Impossible this year for Paramount. And as of right now, rounding out your top 10 this weekend is Angel Studios' Truth and Treason, which added 933,000. It's at 4.8 million. It's on their top 5 list of the year. But I'm telling you, listen, I saw David the other night. I cannot share opinion, but the King of Kings from Angel Studios animated film that came out in the springtime did 60 million domestically. And I've got a feeling that Angel wants David to become their second $100 million plus movie ever, joining Sound of Freedom. It's coming out for the holiday season. It opens December 19. It's the same day as the new SpongeBob movie. But here's the thing about SpongeBob. There are a lot of families and kids who love SpongeBob, and there are some kids and families that don't love SpongeBob. And so if you've already seen Zootopia by Christmas time, New Year's, and you're not a SpongeBob fan, here's David, and I think that plus the faith-based crowd could get David to over $100 million domestically. We will see. Even if it does 60 million, just like King of Kings did, that would be very good for Angel Studios. They would take it. They would love that. But this may do even more than that. We will have to see. Let me tell you about all of these movies that I saw, and then we'll preview the films coming out for this week. So I saw in the last 2 weeks, The Mastermind. Not a good film. Grand Prix of Europe, which is an animated film from Viva Kids. It opens November 7th. Then you've got Arco from Neon, which opens November 14th. This is an animated film, fantasy film. Grand Prix of Europe is a racing movie, and it's got some fun stuff. And Arco, what I like about Arco is what it does with time, past, present, future with the characters. There's a good payoff at the end, nice visuals, star-studded voice cast. Arco opens November 14th. Sentimental Value is the new film with Renette Reinsve and Stellan Skarsgård, and is from Joachim Trier, who did Worst Person in the World. I like this more than Worst Person in the World, and Stellan Skarsgård is very good, but it's a lead role. It's not a supporting role. But I don't love everything that the movie does. It is not deep. It is very surface level. It is very basic in the end. It tries to make you think it's more complicated than it is, and it's not. So I don't love Sentimental Value, but I think it's okay. Sisu, Road to Revenge. I have seen that. I talked to Stephen Lang afterwards. He's the bad guy in this. It is the sequel to the 2023 movie Sisu. And if you're a fan of that movie, you're going to love what this movie does. Beginning, middle, and end. First half and second half. It's bigger, and then it becomes a new spin on what it did last time. You're not going to be disappointed if you love the first one. Sisu, Road to Revenge opens November 21. Then you have, Wake Up Dead Man, Knives Out. Terrible. Nothing there. Not interesting. Not compelling. Very extravagant, and in the end, for very little payoff. Not a fan. Was not a huge fan of Glass Onion. It's better than this. Loved the first Knives Out, what Rian Johnson did, but he should move on to something else at this point. Then you've got Is This Thing On? This is the Bradley Cooper film with Will Arnett. I like Will Arnett in it. I don't love everything the character says and does, but I like the approach that Will Arnett took with this performance. And the stand-up comedy atmosphere in New York City, it's solid. That's the best thing Bradley Cooper does as a director. But this movie is just talky about relationship stuff. The Laura Dern character is terrible. Just in terms of how she's written, there are certain moments. There's a scene involving this picture, and she gets mad over a picture, and it's just like, what is happening? And there's all these goofy supporting characters, including Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper plays this goofball, and I'm going, why did you have to distract us from any momentum with what you do with this character? So it's his worst film of his 3. Stars Born Maestro than this, without question. As solid as Will Arnett is in the stand-up comedy atmosphere, there are a lot of other things that make you go, ooh, including the ending. Ooh, my God. It doesn't make any sense. I won't spoil it. But you look at the timeline and you go, wait a minute. Why are they doing this now when the kids should have been doing this 3 months ago? 4 months ago. You'll know what I mean if you see Is This Thing On. Then we got Hamnet. This is Jessie Buckley, who's very good. This is Chloe Zhao. I don't like it as much as Nomadland, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, but what I remember about watching Nomadland was screener at home in 2020. The thing about Nomadland is it was different from every other movie that had come out in a long time because it was this sort of documentary narrative combo. It was very interesting. The thing about Hamnet is Jesse Buckley, it's a raw performance. And the movie tries to balance raw emotions and delicate emotions. Paul Mescal as William Shakespeare, if he gets on ballots, I don't think it's a great performance. I don't think he deserves a nomination. He was much better in After Sun. The movie peaks about an hour 10 in. There's an emotional scene involving a couple of kids, and that's the scene I'm going to remember for a long time, along with some things that Jesse Buckley has to go through in this movie. But the whole third act, I don't want to say it's flat because it's not, but it is not the emotional powerhouse that Chloe Zhao thinks it is. So I'd go B- on it. It's worth seeing for Jesse Buckley, the effective drama, but I will say this, it is a tough movie. It is a very difficult film. The subject matter, if you know what it is going in, it's all there, and it is tough. It is a tough movie to get through, and if it hits close to home for you, then you may have a very difficult time getting through it. I'm not sure how it's going to do at the box office. It's maybe purely an awards play because I don't know if a lot of people are going to be able to get through it. Seriously, there will be people. There were people at my screening crying through a lot of it. It's very tough, especially before the last section. Then we have La Grazia. This is Paolo Sorrentino's new film. Now, I love some of his other movies. Youth was my number one movie of 2015. Hand of God I thought was very good. Parthenope from earlier this year, really good. It'll probably still make my 10 best list for the year. But this is a disappointment. And what I like about Paolo Sorrentino's movies is that they're beautifully messy, and they're complicated, and they're complex. And there are so many details and things you have to pay attention to in the way. What he does with La Grazia is it is much more in a box. It's a political movie. He plays the president of Italy, the actor in the film, and Tony Servillo. And yes, it's not as extravagant, visually. It tries a few things, and the tricks that he tries this time are not very good. There's only a little bit of dialogue and here and there that's great, and some shots, but not nearly as many as the past. I'd probably give it a C. He still is an interesting filmmaker and does a few things here, but compared to the others and just the overall impact of this movie, which really is hurt by this subplot, though it really becomes the main plot, that the character is obsessed with the fact that his wife had an affair 40 years ago and is still trying to find out who she was with. And we keep going back to it over and over and over and over again, and it is annoying. After the third time, you go, enough already. So that really hurts the experience, and some other decisions made that just do not work this time. Huge disappointment for me. La Grazia, Mubi releasing this in December. I do agree with you, Pete, that I think Jessie Buckley is a lock for a nomination. I don't know if she's going to win, but I will be shocked if she is not on the Oscar list and all of the Best Actress lists this award season. Then I saw an animated film called Little Amelie, which I really like. It opens this Friday in select theaters, goes wide on the 7th. It is a story of a young girl and her interpretation of the world at almost 3 years old. And there's good emotion to it. G-Kid's releasing this. Little Amelie, or The Character of Rain, based on an autobiography. Go see it. It's only 78 minutes long, tight story, moves, and will move you. So go see that. Next movie I saw was Springsteen, not good. Then I saw David. Again, I can't really give opinion, but I think it's going to do well. And then I saw yesterday 2 films that I liked. The first is A Magnificent Life, which is Sylvain Chomet's new animated film. He did The Triplets of Belleville and The Illusionist. And this is about Marcel Pagnol, who was this French filmmaker, did all these movies. He also was a playwright, and it moves rapid fire fast. It is, 20-second scenes, boom, 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 and you got to keep up with it. But if you do, and I especially like the second half, you will find it very interesting. There is some good commentary, there's some humor, there's some surprises. A Magnificent Life. I like this, especially the second half. It's good. It's Sylvain Chomet. So Sony Classics releasing that for the end of the year and awards qualifying. And then last night I saw a new Sony Classics film as well called The Choral, which stars Ray Fiennes. He plays this chorus master. This is set in World War I, 1916 in England, leading a chorus. And all these young men, the soldiers going off to World War I. You have the women who want to sing and perform. You have the leaders of the chorus, the heads of the group, besides Ray Fiennes' character. Ray Fiennes is excellent. It's a supporting role. If he should get in awards-wise, it's for Best Supporting Actor. At least it should be, based on screen time. This is an ensemble movie. And it's got some bite to it. It's got some punch. You may think this is kind of like, I don't know, it's for an older audience for sure. If it has vibes of Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, I mean, it's kind of those vibes of there's some humor and the one-liners and wisecracks a little bit, but there is some punch to the emotion, especially towards the end, of what this movie says and does about relationships, about that time period. And Ray Fiennes is very good. So The Choral, it opens Christmas Day from Sony Pictures Classics. And those are the 14 films I have seen in the last 2 weeks. So I look forward to seeing more movies coming up in the next couple weeks. I may get to A House of Dynamite. We'll see. I know there's Ballad of a Small Player coming out, and Christie coming out, and Nouvelle Vague, as I mentioned earlier. And also this week, you have Violent Ends, Balu Bali the Epic, the return of Sinners in IMAX, the return of K-Pop Demon Hunters Sing-Along. And then on Wednesday this week, we have the new ensemble piece Anniversary coming out. And also for Halloween, the animated film Stitchhead. My conversation with the director of Stitchhead, Steve Hudson, is at lcj.podbean.com and animationscoop.com. Animated movie based on a popular book series, especially in England. Stitchhead, new animated feature going nationwide starting Wednesday, just in time for Halloween. I hope you have a great Halloween, a safe and happy Halloween this Friday, and a good weekend. We'll see you next Sunday here on LCJ Live at noon Eastern. We'll talk about the box office, all these new movies that are open up. We'll see what leads the way. Could it be K-Pop Demon Hunters once again? And we will preview a lot of movies opening for the first weekend of November, including Predator Badlands, Nuremberg, which I love, and several other movies. So thanks for being here. Go to lights-camera-jackson.com. lcj.podbean.com, animationscoop.com, toofast2films.com, X at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at lightscamjackson, youtube.com/lightscamerajackson. We'll see you next Sunday for LCJ Live. Have a safe and happy Halloween, and we'll see you in the month of November. Bye-bye.